भयो कि भएन? अरे ब्ल्याक स्क्रिन किन आइरहेछ? ए यसको क्वालिटी लो हान्नुपर्छ होला, नत्र थाम्दैन नि होला माइक त। थाम्दैन नि होला। यहाँ फक्ट भन्नु छ नि। कुनै क्लच नभएको डाउट मेरो ल्यापटपले सिमलाई दिन्छ होला आज भनेर टाइम लागेको लाइभ स्ट्रिम गर्दा त। वेबक्याम सुट त गर्नुपर्ने यस्तो हुँदा त। अब guys, welcome back to my fucking live stream, and this fucking live stream is presented by एक घन्टा लाग्ने होला एक-एकवटा गेम चाहिँ प्ले हुनु। अहिले नै त यस्तो ट्र्याकिङमा लौडा लागिरहेछ। तेह्र पर्सेन्टमा कति बेर अरू कुनै हो कि? सबै अन्य बगेको हल्का त केही नै किन बग्नु त? कन्टिन्यू गर्नुपर्ने रहेछ र अब। मात्र हुन्छ। किताबको अब यो गेम आफू बनाउँछु यो गेमको नो द fucking game idiotic. त्यही ग्राफिक्स त वान उयोमा गरेर खेल्नुपर्ने रहेछ आज त पुगिसक्यो नि अहिले लाग्छ लोड हुने भयो मेरो त स्क्रिन लोड हुनु लाग्यो। गर्न त नगर्नु यार। ए काठमाडौँमा जितेन अन्त ल विराटनगर त्यहाँ त गाह्रो छ नि यार सुरुहरू पो नेपाल चढेन VNVT लाई Let's see US मा गएर भने IRR सबैलाई सबै पाउँछ यस्तो एयरपोर्टमा चाहिँ जानु पर्दैन यता मजा दिँदैछ अब त न्युदेखि चाहिँ हुँदाखेरि small patch of your field. Okay, it's better to choose VNVT. This is the one we are going for guys. Oh my god, Biratnagar, wow. Lol.
Hello there. You must be Chitai's Tan, right?
What's in this thing?
Welcome to Biratnagar. I'm Suresh, the owner of this aero club. Here at the club, we provide all the training lessons Then, once you've earned your PPL, you can build up your flight hours and get more experience by taking people out on first flights. But before any of that, let's head outside and take a flight to get familiar with our aircraft.
So Some
Welcome to the apron. This is where all our flying adventures begin. Why don't you walk around a bit while I finish the pre-flight preparations?
कसरी हिँड्नुमा किबोर्डै चाहिने अरे
Today we will be flying in a Cessna 172 Skyhawk. It's the main trainer airplane in our flight school. Our Cessna's got a glass cockpit and a 180 horsepower engine, climbs well, and is easy to fly. It's one sweet ride. I'm ready if you are, so hop in and buckle up. Let the good times roll. Welcome aboard. While you settle in, let's go over our flight plan. After taking off, we will climb to 1,800 feet above sea level, and then fly over the airport to enjoy the view. Ready? Why don't you start the engine for us?
Engine कुन स्टार्ट गर्ने त म यसले भन्नु है तर इन्जिनलाई स्टार्ट गरिराख्ने त हुने यार इन्जिनलाई स्टार्ट गर्न त नराम्रो नि ल
Perfect. The wind is from 270 degrees direction with a speed of 9 knots. So we'll be taking off from runway 27. Okay, let me taxi to the runway.
Huh?
Alright, now comes the fun part. After releasing the brakes and applying full power, we will speed up and take off once we reach 60 knots airspeed. We will be climbing at 75 knots, which is the recommended climbing speed for the Cessna Skyhawk. While climbing, we will follow a left-hand traffic pattern and make 2 turns. Don't worry if it sounds overwhelming. I am here to help. Release the parking brakes, otherwise we're not going anywhere. Good. Ready for takeoff? Apply full power to get us moving. You handle the yoke, and I'll take care of the pedals, steering the aircraft on the runway during takeoff. We have reached 55 knots. Pull the yoke a little bit to lift off. We are 300 feet above the ground. I will retract the flaps. You keep climbing. Perfect climbing attitude and speed. I see you know what you're doing. Okay, turn left again. We are almost there. climb to 1,800 feet. It will keep us 500 feet above the traffic pattern. I love the weather today. The clouds are beautiful, aren't they? Here we are, 1,800 feet above sea level and 500 feet above the traffic pattern. We have safe separation with the other airplanes. Look around, see our airport? Let's fly over it.
यसलाई के सिफ्ट बी गर्नुपर्छ यार अनि मात्र हुन्छ यसलाई भाइ सिफ्ट बीलाई पनि हाल्दैन स्मार्ट क्यामेरा स्मार्ट क्यामेरालाई म कुन बटन राख्छु यसलाई सिस्टममा है त
Fantastic. I know that you're busy navigating and controlling the plane, but don't forget to enjoy the view. Well done. I believe you have a talent for piloting. I hope you enjoyed the flight. Let's head back to the ground now. I'm glad that we flew together today. This might be the first chapter in your pilot's journey, if you want to embark on it. Let's catch up at our headquarters. You seem comfortable out there. I'm sure you will get your PPL in no time. There's a laptop in the office that shows all the certification info. Here you can see your first step is to work. All the training lessons you'll need to pass the PPL exam are available here. Make sure you're comfortable with these before taking the exam.
Nó dừng để cho ông live stream này.
Let's talk about the throttle. If you have the need for speed, then the throttle's for you. Full control over the power output of the engine. In the Cessna 172, that relates directly to the RPM displayed on the tachometer on the PFD. Pull back on the throttle to reduce RPM to 1800. Look how your speed and altitude are also decreasing. Excellent. Okay, let's throttle back up to 2,400 RPM.
No RPM thing.
Push the throttle to reach 2,400 RPM. Push the throttle to reach 2,400 RPM. Your speed is increasing now. As long as you maintain the same attitude, your altitude will keep climbing as well. Keep working on it, you'll get better. I think a bit more practice may be a good idea.
Sibayo. तो बुझिए भन्छ यार म त साइन्टिस्ट भइहाल्थेँ यस्तो गयो
Maneuvering a plane through the air isn't a mystery to you anymore. Now it's time to test the skills you've learned. As you can see, we're cruising at 6,000 feet on a north heading of 360 degrees. Start by descending to 5,500 feet while maintaining a northerly heading. While descending, reduce throttle to avoid overspeed. While descending, reduce throttle to avoid overspeed. That's okay. Now, climb to 6,000 feet and turn to a south heading. On the Cessna 172, you need full power to climb effectively. Exercise. Maintain your heading of 180 degrees, stay at 6,000 feet, and adjust your airspeed to 80 knots. Go ahead and reduce your speed. ahead and reduce your speed. That's good. Your speed was well managed, but your altitude needs to be more accurate. You did well, but you can do better.
Altitude hold गर्ने आउँदैन
Hello. Today we're going to go over all the steps that precede turning on your engine. Those steps are essential to ensure your aircraft's integrity and that everything is in order for a smooth and seamless flight. First of all, stretch your legs a bit and take a look at your aircraft and your surroundings. We never took much time to look at our aircraft from the outside, so take your time if you want to inspect it. You might have noticed some extra bits on your aircraft. These are the covers and chocks. Covers are installed when the plane is not in use and are meant to avoid damaging its sensitive parts. Chocks are there to immobilize the aircraft. You'll need to remove them before takeoff.
Joystick ब्रेक का काम ऑप्शन था तो लीडर निकलो क्या चाहिए स्टैटिक फोर्स से Yes, rudder. Yeah, only now. Never you have to again, man. Let's do. Taxi करूँ, थोड़ा flaps. यहाँ रहेछ नि त हैन एकछिन एडिट ढोक्ने
And we're done for the outside. Now that we're sure your aircraft is functional and ready to taxi, let's check the inside.
गर्नु त बसमा
let's get to the matter at hand. You've been given an EFB, also referred to as an electronic flight bag. It's a tablet that stores critical flight information and is the ideal tool to prepare your flight plans and enhance your piloting experience. Open it and take a look. Feel free to follow a quick guided tour of its features.
FB open करने की चाहिए मलाई तो गर्लफ्रेंड तो EFB mana pun feature yo kita selalu berfokus pada feature yang
The EFB features an interactive map, a flight plan editor, aircraft and current flight information, a nav log as well as fuel and payload options. The EFB has plenty to offer, but if you want to get directly into the action, you can turn it off after you finish the quick tour.
फर्स्ट जाने यहाँबाट उड्छौँ फर्स्टमा यहाँबाट उड्छु अनि नाइस सबै हुँदो रहेछ नि त यहाँबाट उडेर यसो गरेर यहाँ जाने होला
It seems like we're all clear on the checklist. Now start this pretty bird up. Now that we've covered all the preparations, let's get to the good stuff, shall we?
Overview of taxi यो भनेको taxi center line भनेको runway र taxi भनेको taxi दुगो taking holding line यो center line by यो runway holding taxi license runway 21 taxi A1 21 okay nice how video मैले
Let's take a moment to talk about taxiing. Taxiing refers to moving the aircraft on the ground under its own power. In particular, getting from the ramp out to the hold short point on the edge of the runway. Steering on the ground is managed through the rudder pedals. That's right, unlike driving a car, we turn by using our feet. Okay, ready? With the throttle idle, release your parking brake. Next time, make sure your throttle is at idle before releasing the parking brake. Now, gently increase throttle to get the aircraft moving. Add power to start taxiing. Add power to start taxiing.
Power दिनु आमामा Cut 30% ज्यादा रुपया
Go easy on your throttle. Use your rudder pedal to turn left and enter the taxiway. Increase throttle to gain forward momentum and then reduce RPM accordingly to match a fast walking speed while taxiing. Test the brakes. Good. Brakes checked. Taxi to the next exit, then come to a stop. Remember to control your speed with throttle and brakes. See the crossing in front of us. Stop before it, as if traffic was coming off the runway. Watch your speed. Watch your speed. All right, taxi to holding point Alpha 1 next. It's at the far end of the airport, near the head of runway 21. Stay as close as possible to the taxiway center, marked by the yellow line, and watch your speed. Watch your speed. After the right turn, come to a stop before the hold short point, in prep for takeoff. That was good taxiing. The next challenge will be to keep the aircraft under control while at full throttle for takeoff. There's an old saying I like, a mile of road will take you a mile. A mile of runway will take you anywhere. Taking off isn't hard, but there are a few key points to remember. First, we always take off into the wind, which won't be an issue on a calm day like today. Second, before we enter a runway, we always make sure it's clear. Check to the right to see if a vehicle is on the runway. And to the left, to make sure no other planes are approaching. Runway numbers are not arbitrary. Each number matches the first two number of the runway's compass bearing, rounded to the nearest 10 degrees. For example, a runway orientated towards the north would be numbered 36, which is 360 degrees on a compass. Everything looks good, no cross traffic. Go ahead and taxi into position. Now slowly taxi onto the runway and align the plane with the center line. Then stop your plane just after the number 21. Let's position the plane for takeoff.
Dia dekat polygon.
Excellent.
मलाई instruction clear देखिन नि.
Alright, let's do this. Apply full power, and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go. Use your rudder to stay on the center line, and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots. Good. Now, gently pull back on the yoke. And we're airborne. Line up the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple of inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. Maintain 75 knots and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time. Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to remove the left yaw or plane has when climbing. You can see your current yaw input by looking at the MFD slip skid indicator.
कहाँ छ skid indicator चाहिँ यार यहाँ म्याप भिडियोमा मार्क गर्नु नि अनि पो हुन्छ त. ल
Okay, 5,500 feet. You've reached your target altitude. Good job.
अनि अझै टोटल र आरपिएम पुगेको छैन यार.
For this landing exercise, I want you to focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle. Maintain a speed of around 65 knots. Pitch down if you're going too slow. Pitch up if you're too fast. Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does. We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line. I think a bit more practice may be a good idea. Keep in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is...
मलाई चित्त बुझेको छैन नि कहाँ यस्तो जोतो ल्यान्डिङ गएको त म यार.
For this landing exercise, I want you to focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle. Maintain a speed of around 65 knots. Pitch down if you're going too slow. Pitch up if you're too fast. Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does. We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line. Well done, but there's room for improvement. Keep in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is key to a good landing.
जसको सिया आउनुपर्छ अरे यसमा त ल्यान्डिङमा त यो के भइरहेछ यार
For this landing exercise, I want you to focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle. Maintain a speed of around 65 knots. Pitch down if you're going too slow. Pitch up if you're too fast. Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does. We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line.
Just what is the yeah.
Well done, but there's room for improvement. Keep in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is key to a good landing.
But this was fucking smooth, better than that. Glide slope मलाई glide slope पे चलाउन आउँदैन glide slope को approach के भयो नि म यो ठ्याक्कै aiming at the यसलाई एक्सट्र्याक्ट गर्ने रहेछ now अब perfect landing हुन्छ. Fuck you.
In the first part of this landing exercise, I want you to stay on the glide path by using the throttle. You can make small corrections with the yoke to stay aligned with the runway. Smooth action on the throttle is key for remaining on the correct glide path. If you find yourself too high, reduce your power. If you're too low, increase it. Remember though, always make soft corrections. You don't want to overcompensate. Now you can use the elevator to land.
बिचमा ल्यान्ड गर्ने होइन क्या any landing this
Reduce throttle to idle.
आइडलमै छ त हो कस्तो आइडल हो यो भन्दा चाहिँ अब
Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. You did well, but you can do better.
कस्तो स्मुथ छ त यो ल्यान्डिङ त यो कन्सिनेसलाई मात्र अब लास्टमा डबल ट्रेनिङ हान्ने हो भइहाल्छ फाइनल एप्रोच भयो फ्लेयर एन्ड डिक्लेयर यस्तो गऱ्यो अनि ग्राउन्ड तर मैले यो त जानेको त छोटाले फुल तान्दैन अन्त अब के गर्ने यार ल अनि अहिले चाहिँ के गरेको त लु भर्खर ल्यान्डिङको ट्रेनिङ गरे हैन र
My first instructor used to say, the best part of flying is landing in one piece.
अलिकति टाढो छ त्यो
Today, you're in charge of bringing us in for a safe landing.
मलाई मार्छ फर्स्टमा प्लिज
And I've already set us up in landing configuration at 65 knots with 20 degrees of flaps.
कहाँ छ ट्रेनिङ मेरोमा
Keep your aim point on the runway threshold. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare.
तर यहाँ मैले 10 फिट कसरी थाहा पाउँदैन बुझाइ छैन यार लाइट्स त प्ले गर्दा अलिकति सजिलो भइरहेको छ नभए त के सजिलो हुन्थ्यो एयरपोर्ट ठिकमा हो इन्जिनलाई कसरी ग्लाइड हाम्रो चाहिँ ग्लाइडमा कम्पास कहाँ छ डिनाइमा छ हामी बडी टर्न भयो यार डिग्रीमा रहेछ यो हेलो उयो आएको छैन अरे आएकै छैन अरे अनि अब नआउनु पर्यो भनेर तपाईँलाई अघि फोन गर्नु खोजेको उठाउनु भएन त्यही त खै फोनै गरेन हौ डाक्टरले नै ए त्यही त ल ए ए कहिले आउँछ त भ्याक्सिन ए ए ल ल अब फर्किनु नि त ल लाइट स्लोप भन्दा बिग्रेमा लाइट स्लोपमा छुइनँ म लाइट स्लोपमा छुइनँ त्यो हाइट आउनुपर्छ लाइट स्लोपमा छु किनभने म धेरै हुने भयो नि लाइट स्लोपभन्दा 2 हुनुपर्छ लाइट स्लोपको त्यो थाहा छ
Stall, 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 stall.
Rambo.
My first instructor used to say, the best part of flying is landing in one piece. Today, you're in charge of bringing us in for a safe landing. And I've already set us up in landing configuration at 65 knots with 20 degrees of flaps. Keep your aim point on the runway threshold. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare.
लाइट स्लोपलाई हेर्ने होइन हाम्रो एउटा 4टा बत्ती बलेको भयो अनि स्पिड मेरो 50 नट्स चाहिँ घटायो मेरो क्लच फेरि लाइट स्लोपमा छु Alliance in our runway sanga 37-43 degree mati glass slope achu यस्तो के कपी भिडियो हेरेर चाहिँ बुझ्दैन यार है माथि पनि हुन्छ 100 ले फरक पर्दैन कि तर रनवे सानो छ भने फरक पर्छ कि रनवेमा फरक पर्दैन
Reduce throttle to idle.
आइडलमै छ यार
Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line.
टोटल केमा छ आइडलमै छ हैन आइडलमै छ त गाडी स्ट्रक्चर जस्तो भयो
You did well, but you can do better.
नसिक्ने योसँग यार म अर्को ट्रेनिङ जाने
Keep in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is key to a good landing.
गाडी दादा सुरेश चाहियो मलाई सुरेश डाउन विन्डो नाइस फाइनली नयाँ ट्रेनिङ आयो है आयो यसले भनेको होइन टेन्सन हुनुपर्छ यार भनेको सिधा भयो अनि विन्डको हिसाबले अपविन्ड भनेको त एउटा आकाशमा उल्टिन्छ डाउनविन्ड भनेको त्यही त होला नि
Okay, we're currently flying on the downwind leg at the standard traffic pattern altitude of 6,000 feet. It's a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction. In downwind, you want to start preparing for landing. That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. We are passing the end of the runway, so go ahead and reduce RPM to 1700. It will help you to slow you down to 80 knots and begin your descent. The flaps provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed. Flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings. Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps, all while maintaining current speed. Turn left onto the base leg. Try to keep our speed around 75 knots. Keep an eye on the runway as we get ready for our final turn.
Stall.
Turn left onto final. Keep a stabilized approach with 65 knots airspeed and prepare for landing. Use throttle and flaps as required to adjust the glide slope. And stop the plane.
Nice.
Keep a stabilized approach with 65 knots airspeed and prepare for landing. Use throttle and flaps as required to adjust the glide slope.
Don't sink, 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 don't sink,
Stall.
don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink.
Stall.
Please.
Stall.
Let's
Stall.
Apply.
Fucking God.
Keep a stabilized approach with 65 knots airspeed and prepare for landing. Use throttle and flaps as required to adjust the glide slope.
Don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink,
500.
don't sink, 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 don't sink.
Apply the brakes and stop the plane. You followed the traffic pattern well. Good job.
Nice, finally third attempt मा बाचे. B rating लाग्छ के यसमा त B rating is good. अब चाहिँ साँच्चै हान्दिने हो उडाइदिने हो एक्लै डाउनलाई अप माथि गयो पछि त 6000 फिटकोमा हानु.
It's time. Your first solo flight. I'll be watching from the ground, in radio contact if you need me, but something tells me you won't.
But thank you.
Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember everything we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine. Good luck. See you on the other side.
Down. There's 7%. Wait, 7% left, no? You've done. Okay, gloves down. 5 knots. भनेको त हाम्रो एप्रोच हो नि अब एप्रोच आइसक्यो नि
You need to stay in the pattern for the sake of this exercise.
ल प्याकेटबाट बाहिर चाहिँ म कसरी गएँ हौ
I think a bit more practice may be a good idea. You're on your way to becoming one hell of a pilot.
मैले न त रोल सिकेँ न चाहिँ पिच सिकेँ अब त्यो यो एलिभेटर सिक्यो भने मात्र हुन्छ डाइरेक्ट लास्टमा गयो नि त त्यही भएर यो पैसा चाहिँ कहाँबाट आउँछ सिक्दा सिक्दा कहिले पाउने यार म त यहाँबाट त्यसको लागि त्यति धेरै नाइस मजा आयो यार तर वर्थ द मनी गाइस वर्थ द मनी Yes. What? Ada kata fish, ada satu gelap. Kalau kan guys jangan